Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Bora with my fifth video in a series of videos reviewing Naxx Speed Tech. So in this video we're going to be reviewing the gate pulls. This is a great piece of tech. If you've ever been in a Naxx that has done it and then you do a Naxx that doesn't do it, you are bored to death while you're fighting Gothic. So this is a excellent piece of tech. I'm going to quickly pull up my my little overview card that I've written here. So again, the tech name is Gate Pulls. The setup is medium. I mean, honestly, it's probably easy. We'll go through it. I'll show a VOD of myself setting this up. This does not require a Petri. I'll call this medium risk because depending on how many gate pulls you actually do, you can create a pretty ugly situation. It is risky. However, this is a very large time save by my estimation. You can fight me on this if you want, but this is probably the biggest time save of all the speed tech, and I'll go through the reason for that as we go. Is NG required? No. So I'm going to do a bit of a reversal here because I've been actually starting my videos with a live of my actual speed run doing this, but I'm actually going to show you. I guess technically this is my live speed run doing this. I don't normally play Hunter in my run, by the way. I have on occasion whenever I've needed to fill. So this is one of those scenarios. So I'm actually just going to hit play here. The reason I say that this is even medium setup is this does require your Hunter to jump through the gate. So the reason that this tech is so successful is because you're able to start pulling mobs that are beyond the boss fight. And again, if you've done Gothic, the first phase of the fight is very lengthy. So because your hunter is able to go through the gate, you're actually able to accomplish a lot while you go through that first phase on Gothic. So just to show you how to line this up. Okay, in the middle of my screen here, you see this little tiny sliver. That's all you want to see. Okay, that's all you want to see. So what you want to do, if you're the hunter here, you want to jump in, you want to strafe all the way to the right, then all the way to the left. Then you want to turn your camera so you just see a little slice of pie here. Okay, I actually missed my very first jump, but I nailed the rest. Okay, let's just gloss over that embarrassing moment here. Boom. Okay, so to make this jump, it is just jump W, jump W, jump W. Just very, very quick. Okay, just tap W right after you hit jump. So jump W, jump W, jump W. Some character models, believe it or not, actually only require 2 jumps. So I play a male troll hunter. It requires me 3 jumps to go over. If you play a femme orc, for whatever reason, it only uses 2 jumps, and I actually have no idea about any of the alliance models. So here we go, jump W, jump W, jump W. I've made it, those are my 3 jumps, then I jump over, and now I start pulling things through the gate. I've made a mistake here. Your hunter needs to be, there should be 1 priest on the side, on the what's called the dead side, right? So if you look at the Gothic, there's the living side, so the mobs spawn there, and once they die, they come over to the dead side. So on the dead side, there should be 1 priest. And again, I play Horde, so there's 1. On Alliance, there's probably multiple. So your priest is going to be on the other side of the gate, and he should be right where my mouse is. Okay, right. He doesn't want to be at the gate, because these mobs are going to come through and he doesn't want to put himself in a dangerous situation. So that priest should be just around the corner. And so as he's pulling these things through, he's a little bit away from harm and the tanks can start picking up the mobs as they come through. I have forgot to move myself in. It's no problem for right now. You can actually get some of these things through just by strafing, or even like other people can rip with battle shouts and all that kind of stuff. Nonetheless, this first thing is going to get moved, and now as you can see, I'm in group 8 with and you can see my lit up raid frame. My friend Ferngully is here to bail me out as I do these gate pulls. Okay, so there's actually 2 ways that a priest can get these things through the gate. One, they can use Prayer of Healing. Prayer of Healing will actually reach through the gate. It has a range of, I think, 30 yards or 40 yards. And so as the hunter approaches the gate, if you've lost life, you'll get healed. That'll give healing aggro, and then the things will come through the gate. The other thing that the priest can do is actually buff himself with a group buff. So think the 60 or the Prayer of Shadow Protection, so the 20-minute Shadow Protection, or you could use Fort, but very much not recommended to use Fort. Fort has a 3,000 mana cost, and that would be extremely inefficient. The Shadow Prod, I think, is like 960 or 1,000 or something like that. So still pretty mana intensive, but nonetheless, you can do it. Okay, so going back to our, there's a kind of a larger discussion here, because again, for a valid speed run in the eyes of Warcraft logs, there are trash requirements. If you've done the Outer Ring skip, which I reviewed in my second video, or third video, we skipped some mobs. We have to make up for that as we go. That's not the case in the VOD that I'm watching right now, but nonetheless, something to call out, because you can start making up for those mobs that you skipped while you're doing these gate pulls. As you can see here, my little DBM timer, there's 4 minutes and 10 seconds left on phase 1. So that is why this is such a big thing, because you're doing two things at once. You're killing mobs you inevitably have to kill, but you're doing it while you're fighting a boss. So it actually ends up saving a ton of time. So I'm going to fast forward, or not fast forward, but I'm going to keep press to play here. So I'm going to keep bringing these things through the gate. So I'm marking them up. I'm shooting them. And my priest, okay, I don't know if you saw that, but you can actually still see a little remnant of a priest buff. So weirdly, you have to cast the shadow buff on yourself twice as a priest to actually rip threat. I, as the hunter, always keep targeted one of the mobs to make sure, because I have my target frame right here. And as soon as I see it get ripped off of me, I can go ahead and start pulling the next thing. Because I don't do this often, I actually play this a little bit poorly, but nonetheless, you'll get the point of what I'm trying to accomplish here. So you can see here, he's actually cast it now twice, and it still has not been ripped off me. I actually weirdly have to lip here to save myself. I've lipped, they get pulled through, he's still buffing me. Sometimes that just happens. Of note, so the reason that you use the group buff instead of the Prayer of Healing is a 40-yard range. The group buff actually only has a 40-yard range of where you can cast it, but once cast, it reaches 100 yards. So it actually, if he casts it on himself, he can rip aggro off of me from 100 yards away, which is much further distance. And we can talk about that later. So I'm going through here, and again, I'm just pulling mobs. The reason I say, I'm not well seasoned at this, you can see, okay, this is still targeted on me, and very shortly, now it's off me. I can be running the other direction and going down the ramp and starting to pull more stuff. I don't do that because I'm a scaredy cat, and you'll see I run all the way to the gate. I definitely don't need to, and I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm killing time. I don't need to be doing this, and you can see that the mobs were not on me, okay? So once you see those things ripped off you and your target has changed, you're able to continue down the ramp and start pulling more mobs. So I'm getting gargoyles here. Okay, just for context, this would be about 100 range where my mouse is circling. That would be at about 100 range. So you can actually have threat ripped off you without ever leaving the ramp. So you can actually get a ton of work done if you're trying to pull all these things through. Again, I've continued my way to the gate because I'm a scaredy cat, but you'll see why. Because sometimes it looks like mobs are looking at you. Oh, this is actually a perfect example of this VOD. I keep running. Like, it kind of looks like they're still on me. And even here, like, they cast, it sometimes it's a little scary. However, if you see that the target has changed, you're actually good. You can go. I keep running to the gate. I'm playing this terribly. Neither here nor there. You understand. You understand the tech. So this little clip is going to stop here, but ultimately I go all the way down and I'm pulling echoes and I'm pulling ghouls and all that kind of stuff. And even you can see in my VOD here, there's still 2 minutes and 44 seconds until Gothic is even spawned. So that's why this is such a gigantic time save, because again, you're pulling all these mobs, which you have to kill one way or the other. You have to kill all these things on your way to Four Horsemen. And you're just saving so much time by killing them all in advance. So now I'm going to swap over to my my VOD of the OKB run. So again, this is our Horde record run at 44:55. I got to skip quite far ahead here because I am in a totally different wing. Should have prepped this, but I didn't. I'm not a very refined YouTuber, so my apologies. And so you'll see, here we go, with gate pulls in the OKB run. So things are starting to come through. I'm actually going to fast forward until a little bit later because this is very easy off the rip. Like these things are coming in. It's still very early, like, you know, it's wave one. Like it's just going to be the spirit of Naxx Ramus coming over. They're not scary. They can be scary for casters, but they get basically one shot. Where it does get a little rough is, call it wave 8. That's when, you start getting riders, you're getting death knights, there's gargoyles coming through the gates, there's ghouls coming through the gates. So let's just talk about your priorities here. Because, okay, so if you have Akos come through the gate, those need to die. If you have gargoyles come through the gate, those need to die. And we've actually already killed them in this VOD. I'll just quickly go back because we death wish as we kill the gargoyles. You want to get them down so that you don't have a lot of stacks. So I've made a raid wide call to death wish. You'll see my death wish hive mind in the top left there. And we want to get these things down ASAP. You just don't want to pick up a lot of stacks here. I'm actually peeling off to help kill some of this trash because you really don't want this stuff beating on healers and casters. Actually, casters are on the side, so just your healers. But you want to get those guards down as fast as possible. So, getting to wave 8, wave, 13, this is where stuff starts getting really ugly. You can see on my raid frame, anybody with a perforated black line circling their raid frame, that person is a greater stone shield. So that should be your raid call. At around wave 8, your pot should be back up. So this is my raid and probably most speedruns. As you enter Gothic's room, we actually pop a frost pot. You won't take frost damage again until Saffron. So this is actually a really good time to pop a frost pot. And then around wave 8, your pot comes back up, and that is your opportunity to greater stone shield. I personally don't use a greater stone shield because I look for opportunities where there's ghouls, death knights, and riders and all that kind of stuff. And I'll actually send a lip taunt just to try to keep my raid safe. But you can see ghouls are coming here. So ghouls are the lowest priority things. Your tanks can pick them up. So tanks pick up all this stuff. You deal with the Gothic trash. Everybody deals with Gothic trash. You throw dummies if you see riders. You put on a shield if you're about to get hit by a rider. You just keep yourself safe. Use a greater stone shield, all that kind of stuff. Let your tanks just drag that Gothic trash into the middle of the room. You might also notice my equipped boots right to the just to the right of my webcam are rocket boots. So we actually do this fight with rocket boots on. And again, I've talked about this in a prior video. Whenever you can blend, travel time save with, skips and all that other kind of stuff, or kill time save, that's where you get, really juicy stuff. So we actually do this fight with rocket boots on, and then we use our rocket boots as soon as we leave. As you see, my rocket boots just backfired on me. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Whenever you're using rocket boots, you want to equip Skull of Impending Doom at the same time. If you do have your boots backfire, that's your opportunity to use Skull to catch up to the raid. I didn't actually have to do that in this scenario, just because we actually didn't get as much done on the gate pulls as I thought. So as I did equip my Skull, we still have to kill 5 of those units. I'm going to catch up just by virtue of them, dealing with those other things. So I actually don't have to use my Skull. I'm actually switching back to my THC there, and I'm catching up to the raid. However, just a blanket statement: when you're about to use a rocket boot, equip Skull of Impending Doom at the same time. Use that to catch up to your raid. You'll also see that we're pulling the far side Akos again because we've done the outer wing skip earlier in the run. We need these 2 trash mobs for valid logs, so we're going to pick these 2 to kill. And again, you could pick later mobs on your way into Thaddeus. There's a reason we don't do that. We pop a shadow pot a little later in the run. Those things actually do a shadow volley. So if you've killed those and you have no more trash requirement, you won't take any more shadow damage until you're on Saf. So that's kind of why we do it. Otherwise, if you pop a shadow pot and then you kill the ones on your way into Thaddeus, you're probably going to cook your entire shadow pot before you even get into the boss room. Okay, I'll give this a letter grade. I'm going to give this an A. This is my first A, I believe, and it's because it just saves so much time. It's very easy to set up. It's and the other thing, and so I've talked about not only the speedrun scene, but I've talked about getting people into tech as well. The beauty of this is you can do any iteration of gate pulls that you want. Fuck, I mean, you can just send your hunter over there, pull a shade just to see how it goes. You can really dip your toes in. You actually don't need to go all the way downstairs and keep pulling mobs up and all that kind of stuff. You can just do the shade, the ghouls, the echoes. You don't even have to get gargs if you think it's going to make your raid uncomfortable. So I love that aspect of it as well. And it's also just a huge time save. Okay, I'm going to see you all for the next video, which is going to be carrying on right from here, which is the 4 Horsemen Cleave. See you all next.